Hi everyone! Believe it or not, this is the 31st of December 2023 and it is 8:13, getting close to 8:15 p.m. Liesel is asleep and the house is quiet, and well, today we've been talking about how should we spend this last evening of the year. And we decided what better way to do it than to spend it listening to music together. And so here we are. Well, of course, you won't get to see this today on the 31st, but we're recording it for you so that you can watch my experience in a few days. And then, after we decided to spend it listening to music, the question was, what music should it be? Well, oftentimes, usually when we get to the end of a year, we're looking ahead to the next year and we're thinking of the future. Yes, we reflect on the past, but we're looking towards the future. We're looking towards the new year. And what will it bring? What will it hold? What will we do? What do we want to do? What do we not want to do? And Vlad said, out of the myriads of songs that he knows, he said there's one which he thinks would be just the song for tonight. And so, that is the one I'm going to be listening to. He hasn't allowed me to read the lyrics. I don't know what they are yet. My screen is off. All I know is that it is a band called Ugly Kid Joe, which is kind of an amusing name for a band. And I don't know what to expect, so I'm ready to give it a try. Of course, I have something to read first, so let's see what I have to learn. Cats in the Cradle is a 1974 folk rock song by Harry Chapin. The single topped the US Billboard Hot 100 in December 1974. Chapin's recording of the song was nominated for the 1975 Grammy Award for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance and was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2011. In 1992, American hard rock band Ugly Kid Joe included a cover of the song, renamed Cats in the Cradle, originally with an apostrophe, possessive cats. Now it is cats without an apostrophe, cats plural. On their debut album, America's Least Wanted. Ugly Kid Joe is an American hard rock band from Isla Vista, California, formed in 1989. Ugly Kid Joe has been categorized under several genres, including hard rock, pop metal, heavy metal, alternative metal, funk metal, and grunge. Yes, this is the 90s, so we're kind of in the grunge era. Cats in the Cradle reached number 3 on the Billboard Album Rock Tracks chart and number 11 on the Top 40 Mainstream chart. The single sold 500,000 copies domestically, earning a gold certification from the Recording Industry Association of America. And in Canada, the song peaked at number 1 on the Records Singles chart and at number 11 on the RPM 100 Hit Tracks chart. Outside North America, the cover topped Australia's ARIA Singles chart for a week and reached the top 5 in Iceland, Ireland, Norway, New Zealand, Sweden, and Switzerland. We're going towards the Nordic countries and down under. In the United Kingdom, Cats in the Cradle charted at number 7 on the UK Singles chart. Okay, let's see what this is.
My child arrived just the other day, came to the world in the usual way, but there are planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. He was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, my son turned 10 just the other day. Said thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And he walked away and smiled and he said, you know, I'm gonna be like him, yeah. You know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue with the man on the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, it came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, I'm proud of you. Could you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'm feeling like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids are the boo. But it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
I'm not sure what to say. It's one of those songs that makes you sit down and think for a minute and double check yourself. Well, funny thing is, just as I walked in here this evening, the baby took a little extra time to go to sleep tonight, and I spent some extra time with her because I like to. I feel like she's growing up so fast and I don't want to miss a moment with her. And as I walked in the studio to sit down and listen tonight, I looked at Vlad and I said, I know I spend probably more time with her than a lot of babies get, and I'm not sorry. I guess this song makes me feel doubly not sorry. But it's easy to let it happen, isn't it? Time slips away so fast. And the things that we choose to spend our time with are usually things that we do for the ones that we love. And we do it for them, and then we forget to give them our own time. because we're so invested in trying to do everything we can for them and provide for them, care for them, make life the best possible for them. And then we forget that it's about relationship and connection and the life we have together. That's the message of this song. I guess it's a very, very fitting message as we think towards the new year. How are we going to spend our time? We don't all have the luxury of spending extra time with our children. That's okay. It's about quality and the heart behind it, the intent, not the excuse. Got planes to catch, things to do, run off and get these done. I'll play ball with you later. We can always find some moment to invest some quality time, even if it's 1 or 2 minutes. And those 1 or 2 minutes are the world. And they fill the days and the nights. And they make up for whatever we are unable to give of our time, because we are providing for the ones that we love. But we can always find some moments to give that quality, special time. Well, we should go back and listen through this again and maybe pause along the way. It is kind of a folksy type tune. I can hear it even though this is reworked in a more rock style cover. The refrain is sweet. I guess I must have read this refrain somewhere. I mean, it's pulled from different children's stories, rhymes, games, ideas. We have the little boy blue, we have the man in the moon, we have the cats in the cradle, we have the silver spoon. Those all come from different... But somehow I've heard this couple of lines, the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. I don't associate them with a song, so I don't know exactly where I ran across them, but I must have read them somewhere along the way. But to have that simply as the refrain, repeated every time, kind of balances the weightiness of the story that's being told and keeps us moving towards the child. Let's listen again. This first line really gives it the folk feel. Bum da da bum da 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 bum, kind of a storytelling, rollicking along. Bum da da bum da da bum. I think I hear this score isn't even written with a key signature, which drives me crazy. But I think I hear in here, and if I look carefully, I think I can find a suspension that kind of makes it hold itself until we move. Let's listen to this a little bit again. I really also like the way that guitar just strums. It sounds almost like 2 guitars maybe strumming together. There's a lot of string happening there. It's kind of the feeling that you get when you're playing in a harp ensemble. So many strings being plucked together. And maybe if you've played with 3 or 4 different guitars at once, you get the same idea. And not just storytelling, but it's the sort of medieval bardic quality storytelling that is not necessarily how they would have done back then, but it's the modern day representation of it that we hear in movies, we hear in music, we it's kind of built into our imagination to think of that kind of sound as being the bardic storyteller musician of ancient times. And then, yada-da-da-dum-bum. I like this little chromatic bit here. It would have been so easy to kind of just walk down the scale. But to add that extra chromaticism there with the A natural between the A sharp and the G sharp just adds a little bit of suspense as we're getting ready to go into it. I am aware that they didn't write this song. Since I haven't listened to the original, I don't know how much of this is their own creation as far as the accompaniment and how much of it is brought in from the original. But still, it's nice to notice these things in the music as we go, no matter who came up with it.
My child arrived just the other day, came to the world in the usual way, but there are planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. He was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm...
The way it starts in a sort of a whisper. My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and the rhythm and just falling into it, the way the voice presents it. There's a softness to it, a sort of a sentimental, intimate quality, almost a reverence. And then, as we get into this moment here, da-dum-bum, da-da-da-da-dum, the voice gets a little bit harder, a little bit brighter, and we feel the story developing and an important moment happening.
Was away. He was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad.
I'm gonna be like you, Dad. And it's appropriate that that's the point at which the voice kind of focuses and gets a bit more support under it and projects a bit more, because it is the first time in the song that there is an assertion, a determined statement made by the son. I'm going to be like you, Dad. It's full of hope and admiration and it's the classic young child's worship of his father. There's a brightness in it and a buoyancy. You can imagine the little child just kind of bouncing a little bit as he says, I'm going to be like you, Dad. That's the feeling we get in that moment. And it's nicely set here.
Came to the world in the usual way, but there are planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. He was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
I like the way this refrain is the point at which the instruments get a bit more noisy. There's the drums, which they do a special thing to this song. and the bass as well. There were some moments where the bass really had a special element to contribute. But the way the drums handle, where are they quiet? Where are they loud? I have no clue who the drummer is to this band. I don't know. I don't know who's who in this band. I guess I need to figure that out. But anyway, I will just refer to the instruments, and my apologies to the performers of the instruments. I'll learn your names eventually. Let's listen to this chorus again, because it grows and it ends up having a sort of power to it, which is interesting to place the childlike phrases and games from the baby years. The cat's in the cradle, and the silver spoon, little boy blue, and the man in the moon. When was the last time you said those rhymes, or looked up at the sky and tried to make out the face of the man in the moon, and thought about those things? And here it's placed with this power sound.
He was talking for I knew it, and as it grew, he
Starts to
said,
build.
I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you.
Here we go.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when.
The harmonies.
Get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
And what it does is it powers us through all of these childhood memories and drives us towards the word then, the future. We'll get together then. We'll have a good time then. So we're kind of speeding by all the childhood special moments. Powering through, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Then, in the future, sometime we'll pause and take time and listen and enjoy, but that would be then, not now.
You know we'll have a good time
The drums sound good here, and the bass.
Just the other day, said thanks for the ball. Dad, come on, let's play. Could you teach me to throw? I said, not today. I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And he walked away and smiled and he said, you know, I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue with the man on the moon. When you coming home,
Hear the bass. There's a
we'll get together then.
sort of chorus in the background here. And the story goes on.
Well, it came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, I'm proud of you. Could you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'm feeling like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man.
It's a bit more guitar this time.
Coming home, son, I don't know when.
There, that's the voice that I heard. That's the voice that I heard. It's kind of back in the mix. You don't notice it right away, but it adds this depth and ambience and height to the sound. And it's nice because we have the bass, which is very, very mellow, but it's very present here. It kind of adds a soft... How would I describe it? How would I describe this bass? It's kind of like an inflated mat or something. It's thick and it's present, But it's not really something that has a clear point to the sound where it's easy to pick out that's where it is. It kind of just goes along underneath. But there are points where it steps forward enough that we can hear what's happening. Other times it just fills the sound. And with that very full, active bass resonance, then to balance it with this on top, whoever came up with that, it was the perfect thing to do, to just fill out the space and give us both ends, both the floor and the ceiling, the ground and the sky, in this world of sound.
Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
It's getting noisier. Here's the bass that I like. I really like that bass moment, and the drum sets it up. So we have this thump, 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 and then a tom, da 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 dum, nice and full and rich and you know, I guess one of the things that pulls at the heartstrings in this song is that it's told in a way that you know there was love and affection between them. You know, it wasn't because the father didn't care about the son. It wasn't because the son didn't get along with the dad. They cared about each other, and that's the tragic thing, because they missed each other's lives. And I guess that's what I feel like this bass is giving us, is that feeling of warmth and love and care. Even though they didn't take the time to enjoy it, experience it, express it, it existed. Listen to the bass.
I called him up just the other day. I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time.
The pace feels like it has relaxed a bit here.
But it's sure nice talking to you.
A little bit squishy along.
Sure nice talking to you. As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me.
And then you hear in his voice, my boy was just like me. And the reflection, but then it turns into this expression of regret and realizing, what have I done? What did I give him? He became just like me. Why did I do that? My boy was just like me. There's understanding and there's regret, all packed into that one little phrase there.
It's been sure nice talking to you. As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me.
Notice how he catches his breath. Been sure nice talking to you. A revelation.
It's been sure nice talking to you.
It fades out.
As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me.
Just like
My boy was
just like me. All along, this idea, I'm going to be just like you, Dad. I'm going to be just like you. The son was proud of his dad. The dad was proud of his son and proud of his son's admiration. And, you know, what a wonderful thing to have your son look up to you and say, I'm going to be just like you, Dad. I want to be just like you. And then you get to the end and you realize, he turned out just like me in a way that I didn't want. I didn't recognize. I didn't expect. He was going to be successful and have a full life and all of these things, but he's turned out just like me. And there's so much. You know, they set this really well. They've built this up, they've carried us along. The song has been rollicking along all the way through. Nice rhythms, nice flow, nice mix of instruments, different things. You know, sometimes it's the guitar, sometimes it's the high voice, sometimes it's his voice, sometimes it's the drums, sometimes it's the bass, sometimes it's all of them together. All of this. And we enjoy the flow of the music, and it carries us along like a storyteller should be able to draw us in. And then this is the moment. This is the moment in the story. This is the point. This is, I could say, the moral of the story. This is the great reveal. We could even say it's the climax. It's a climactic moment. But it's set in gentleness and space and silence, at least relatively speaking. And that's why it hits us so hard. That's why it grabs us. What a great presentation of the story to make it do that to us.
Hassling the kids of the blue, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just.
I've been talking about how the music moves us through the story, and it rolls along, and we're carried along with it. And then this section, I said, it gets more stretchy, squishy, supple, flexible. It calms down. It brings us in. It's kind of like, you know, if we're watching a movie, we're kind of fast forwarding or being carried through a lot of scenes rapidly, a quick review of a long timeline, right? And then the camera zooms in to one thing, and the pace slows down, and we're allowed to pause there and observe and just soak it in. The music, that's why I say this is really nicely set and presented, because the music does that for us so well. The pacing, the balance, the mix, the voice, the instruments, everything sets it up so that we are impelled to experience that moment that way, whether we want to or not. It's there. And it's not just the music, it's how the music works with the lyrics. Because if we look at the lyrics as well, they're telling this story down through time, starting at the beginning with "My child arrived just the other day," and each verse is just the other day, just a few days ago. "My child arrived just the other day," and then turned 10 just the other day, and then jump ahead again. He came from college just the other day, and then "I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day." So it's kind of this leaping through time, just the other day. But then here is where it brings us to focus. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, that's when the music works so well. As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. The lyrics are well written. I don't remember who wrote them. Who was the first one here? Harry Chapin. Harry Chapin wrote them. Very well written story. It has its special moment. I suppose I should go listen to the original just to compare. I won't do that right this minute. But this version, this cover, this arrangement, this however you want to call it, is so well set so that in that moment where the poetry gets us to focus on a moment in time, as I hung up the phone, suddenly it's not just the other day, it is now. As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me that was the moment of realization. He'd grown up just like me. And then, my boy was just like me, and the music carries us on, and the realization. Let's hear it.
It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred
The voice.
he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue in the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know where. We'll get together there. You know we'll have a good time there. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue in the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know where. We'll get together there. You know we'll have a good time there.
A good choice for the end of the year. Looking back, looking forwards. Good choice, Vlad. Thank you. As I said after the very first listen, some minutes ago, I don't know what I should say. If there's anything I need to say, the song says so much and says it so well. I would like to say this. Let's all look forward. Let's all look back and reflect. Let's look forward and let's choose how we will spend our lives towards the ones we love the most. How will we invest ourselves? And I wish you all a happy New Year.